Talking with Words.
Welcome back to Talking with Words. First off, hey Tony and Brad, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
We all watched McLintock from 1963. This is a John Wayne movie. I don't know how this is going to go with the movies we've been watching as far as our genre fans, but gear up, Buttercup, because we're going to do this one. Tell us the synopsis for this thing.
Alrighty. Wealthy rancher G.W. McLintock uses his power and influence in the territory to keep the peace between farmers, ranchers, land grabbers, Indians, and corrupt government officials.
This is the first time I think I watched the movie all the way through in one sitting.
Really?
I know I've seen the mudslide 100 times. And the fight.
You have.
Oh, yeah. The greatest Western fight scene ever.
Yeah, the best quote pretty much of all time comes from that too, where he's like, "I'm not gonna hit you. The hell I'm not."
Yeah.
And it just clocks, dude. Leads to one of the best fight scenes ever.
You just need more of that today. Sorry, you do.
And it was one of those where you can tell, and I'll talk about this more in a minute, but it's just they're just like, just hold the camera on, like just let them go and see what happens, and then we'll pick the best pieces.
Absolutely.
I love the way they did the filmmaking back then.
That was just pure Bat Jack production.
Yeah.
You know, John Wayne said, "This is what we're going to do," and everybody just did it.
And they did it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many times have you seen this? And too many to even.
I can remember actually going back in the late 60s, early 70s, first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And since then, I mean,
It's just been a staple.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I raised my kids on it. So
I attest to that. Yeah.
You have firsthand experience, Brad?
110%. It was John Wayne movies and war movies, and I have no complaints. You know.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
I was gonna say, like Rob, I think this is the first time I've sat down and watched it all the way through. I've seen it in 20 and 30-minute increments with my dad probably 50 times
Yeah.
from the time I was about 5 until I left for
Yeah.
college.
I think besides The Searchers, this is probably the John Wayne movie I've seen the most. And both of them are classics of cinema. The Searchers gets a lot of credit. I feel like McLintock not get enough. Personally.
it is a movie that a lot of people can, when they think of John Wayne, this is probably the one that they're thinking about.
Yeah. I know I watched like El Dorado and Rio Bravo over and over and over again.
So those were right after this.
Yeah. Okay.
And he had a production company. It was called Wayne and Fellows Production, I believe, that was started in late 50s, early 60s. And then he just did it all himself. And then he did these movies and he financed everything himself.
Did he just hire out directors and like who he liked working with? And...
So Andrew
McLaughlin
is
lead
who
director.
actually starred in movies with him prior,
Okay.
actually directed this. And so there's some history there as well.
Yeah.
So he's very picky about who he works with, but he's also very picky about who is behind the scenes in the movie.
Right. And he wasn't really one for being known about getting pushed around, and
Oh, hell no.
he usually got his way.
He stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I
No
mean,
quote or no pun intended with the Western genre.
you know, if you think of all the great actors throughout time, John Wayne is what you see on movies is pretty much how he was in real life.
Yeah. I've heard multiple stories because my grandpa was the mayor of Mountain Home for a while. And I remember him talking to us about John Wayne getting off, I think in Dallas somewhere. And they were driving him to wherever he was going. And he was like, pull over. And he just would walk up to doors and be like, hey, I'm John Wayne. Can I have a bourbon?
Yeah.
And people would let him in his house and he'd drink bourbon with them. And then he'd go back to the hotel.
Absolutely.
Like that.
I mean, let's be honest. If John Wayne knocks on your door and says, "Hey, can I get a bourbon?" You give John Wayne a bourbon.
I mean,
You give him whatever he wants.
I was reading an article the other day of like his actual favorite bourbons, and it was Turkey 101,
Yeah.
which same with Hunter S. Thompson, the best bourbon of all time. In my
I
opinion.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
It checks out.
But
We need sponsors.
well, talking about McLintock too, like with him, John Wayne was very stuck in his ways and probably isn't didn't age well with a lot of audiences nowadays.
Yeah.
And the thing about McLintock too is he painted a different picture of how he felt about Native Americans compared to like the searchers and things like that. But then the flip side of that too is the spanking scene with like Kathleen O'Hara.
Right.
Yes.
You know, like it's two different pictures painted right there for sure.
It's very interesting in this movie. The gentleman that plays Running Bull was in one movie, and it was this.
This is the only movie?
It was the only movie, and he actually is a real chief, or he was a real chief with Comanche heritage.
Interesting.
I mean, so you're talking about the searchers. That's about fighting the Comanches
Right.
and etc. And he had a lot of respect for all of the tribes of the Native Americans, and specifically the Comanche and the Apache because of the history behind that, and especially in Texas and New Mexico, Arizona.
Right.
So he was, even though his movies really weren't historically correct,
Yeah.
they were kind of historically correct.
Right. They had some of it going on
They did,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
And the
They also
filmmaking.
knew how
Yeah.
to make movie, make money. So
Right. And I like, it starts off, it's what, 19 or 1893 in this?
95,
95, something
93,
based in that
95.
time. And I mean, especially watching it from 2026, I watched it this week, and like one of the first lines is like, 15 cents pound on all these cattle, get them to Kansas City. It's like, Jesus, okay,
Yeah.
that hurts.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's interesting too if you follow the movie. You're talking about the Mesa Verde.
Yeah.
And the Mesa Verde, which is in Texas and New Mexico, and at that time, certainly Texas was a part of the United States, but it really wasn't completely settled. And you have to understand that you can go back in history and look. It wasn't that long ago from that timeline. They were still fighting the Comanche. Comanche ran
yeah.
the Apache out over to Arizona, basically, and they owned pretty much all of the Llano Escanada down in the Mesa Verde. And it was
Big footprint.
big footprint.
Yeah.
And so this is like farmers coming in trying to settle the area. You don't farm the Mesa
Yeah.
Verde.
It's half desert at this point.
It is, and it's cattle country. And
Yeah.
to this day, it's oil and cattle country.
Yeah. And I like the, all the Sooners coming down.
Yeah.
And they're the first part of it is it's a lot of we're setting up the stage, and we talked about it's based on the Taming of the Shrew. We're going to set the stage for you. So the first 20 minutes are, here's your main characters, here's what's happening in the town, and then you introduce the wife, and you start that conflict going, and then you just kind of let it snowball.
So it's interesting to me, being a big John Wayne fan, there's a huge connection, excuse me, between John Wayne and Maria O'Hare.
Yeah.
And
big connection.
Huge. And everybody thought they were having an affair, but they never did. They were just very, very close.
Yeah.
And she was the one person out of everybody that can control John Wayne.
Yeah.
So a little story is there in Beverly Hills in that area is a gentleman's club, which was a true gentleman's club and men only. And it wasn't, upstairs was a billiards room, and he would literally go up, play billiards. And he enjoyed his turkey a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah.
And when the cars were going by, it had big doors in it. And he would go out on the balcony and throw billiard balls, cars going by.
Ooh.
And, they would end up calling Maria O'Hare and say, hey, the Duke isn't getting a lot of hand and doing something about it. And she would show up and goes, Duke, it's time to go home.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, okay.
I remember hearing that. And then I know that they both had cancer at the same time.
They did.
And like they were calling each other all the time
Absolutely.
with that and going through that together. So I knew some of the strength there. And I think, is this the only movie they worked on together?
Oh, no.
Because they worked on
Quiet
a
Man
few.
is probably the greatest movie between the two of them.
Quiet Man. Okay.
She was. She typed a Yellow Ribbon and everything else.
She
right?
was in Tie a Yellow
Am I wrong
Ribbon,
on
John
that?
Ford.
Yeah.
She was an actress that John Ford found.
Yeah.
and she was kind of ahead of her time. And John was just this farm kid from Iowa, and what you saw is what you get
Yeah.
from the time that he was introduced to the screen.
They also, this is another one of those that I think Ryan and I have talked about before, where the opening shot is your final shot of
The weather vane,
weather vane
on
with the
top
hat on
with
it.
the
Oh, absolutely.
cowboy hat on it, spinning around in the wind.
310 times, hasn't missed once.
Yep.
I mean, think about throwing a 10-pound Stetson
Yeah.
on a weather vane that far up. I mean, that's
And I
a
like
real
that.
man.
I like that we're like, we're not even going to try and get that on film. They're
No.
like, well, no, we'll just
Yeah.
tell you he did it
Yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And then, I mean, we've already talked about some of the lines. It's a 60s Western. So the way the movies were made back then, you had these really long shots. And I noticed it this time of a ton of this movie is people coming in and out of frame slowly on horses, and these different things that are happening, loading, unloading wagons, just quiet,
Drawn
not
out
talking.
shots, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And then you have these indoor, it's usually indoor scenes where they're doing all the dialogue, and they're, you have the fights and the one-on-ones. It was interesting just kind of taking it apart from seeing this with my eyes now, having done film, compared to what they had to use back then. I'm like, damn, that had to have been such a pain in the ass. Just everything they had to have been using to get the sound and the film.
Yeah, I was gonna say working, like trying to maintain a shooting schedule back in the 50s, 60s, 70s was probably an absolute nightmare.
And if you have like 3 horses, I mean, you got to run the horses back around and try again because we missed it.
110%.
How many of those shots are they like, nah, fuck it, that's fine. Like,
That's
just,
my favorite
Yeah,
part
that's
about
kinda-
westerns, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like John Ford, of course, like influenced Kurosawa.
yeah.
You watch like Seven Samurai, and you have this long, drawn out, one shot thing of people coming in and out and stuff like that. But I mean, not to bring back up The Searchers again, probably the greatest in shot of all time. But few movies do shots like that better than the western genre, in my opinion.
And probably
think-
nobody better than John Ford to do that.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, known for it.
Tarantino's done a good job with his 2 westerns
Recreating
he's done
the-
and stuff. Yeah, like the end scene of Django and what have you.
Yep.
But that's what has always been my favorite part of the western genre is those beautiful landscapes and those long, drawn out, wide frame kind of like scenes that they actually pull through.
Yeah.
Think about John Ford. Probably one of his greatest achievements was videography of World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on the island of Midway when it was attacked.
Which is crazy.
And he was worried about the shot.
Yeah.
And he was about to get blown up. He was actually injured. He received shrapnel from a bomb that was dropped. And he was still up there directing the shot because of the sun and the
We're
plane.
going to lose it.
I mean,
Slide a
it's
cigar in
just-
an eye patch.
yeah, that's exactly. So, but you see a lot of that in John Wayne films.
Yeah.
There
It's
is
the spirit of Manifest Destiny, head west.
That's it.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
that's where it all comes from.
Yeah.
Like the only gold that come from these western movies, whether they're chasing it or not, is the gold of cinema.
And we got I mean, you can't watch a Western now, a new one, and it's not inspired in some
Yeah.
whole part by how
I
they
mean,
did that.
A great way to agreeing with what you're saying. Bone Tomahawk did a great job.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the movie is a straight slasher flick, pretty much.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the scenery and the long shots of just drawing out of what it is actually like to be like in the desert and everything. Not speaking from experience, of course, except for watching these movies, but just seeing that long panned out shot and just nothing but the color of what nature provides and everything is absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion.
I think, I know you're not a Kevin Costner fan, but like he did it in like The Postman and Open
He
Range.
did open
Yeah,
range.
Open Range is great. I will say that. Yeah.
But they follow that kind of formula of
Yeah.
we're gonna
Big time.
let it lead into the next thing.
And it didn't hurt that you had one of the greatest actors along with Kevin Costner in that movie too.
It helps.
Oh yeah,
When Duvall's with you, I mean,
Oh,
you're
totally.
usually covered.
Shout out Robert Duvall, though.
Absolutely.
yeah.
A beast.
I was gonna say I think that was shortly after he passed away. We did that
I
one,
think that's why we did it.
and in honor of him.
But you have to remember he was in True Grit.
Oh yeah.
And that's where he was um, probably, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to say that's probably where he really got his start in that.
Probably.
Yeah.
When did the first True Grit come out? Was it 69?
69.
Yeah.
I mean, close to this.
It's only-
Yeah, and then he became Tom in like The Godfather and everything,
Yeah, and just
Exactly.
and just
took off.
catapulted. Yeah. Not diverting from what we're talking about. Just shout out Robert Duvall.
I
That's all
mean,
I'm saying.
anytime.
Like,
We divert all the time.
yeah.
So
Well, I
that's
mean,
fine.
secondhand lines.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to stop and think
Of course,
about
Apocalypse Now.
absolutely.
Charlie Don't Surf, man.
Is how many people John Wayne actually brought to stardom.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You know, we talked a second ago about Jerry Van Dyke. Stephanie Powers is in this movie. His own daughter, plus his son, Patrick.
Both his sons, Michael
Both of
and
his-
Patrick, are in this movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. And then Alyssa, who's in this. And then, you know, you get into they originally, when Gunsmoke, which was a big deal, even
Yeah.
when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, it was huge. They wanted John Wayne to play Matt Dillon, and he turned it down because he didn't want to be, goes, that's going to run my career being tied to TV.
TV actor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes, but I know somebody, and he would be perfect for this part. And that's how
It's all about who you know.
James Arness became Matt Dillon.
And he was known for taking people with him.
Absolutely.
So he would have, it's like what I always think of the Christopher Nolan effect now is like,
Oh yeah.
if he finds somebody he likes, he's like, all right, you're on all my movies now.
I mean, he either liked you or didn't like you. I mean, that was a,
Yeah.
you know.
And I think if you're in his
Yeah, you're gonna
presence,
know
if you,
quick,
Yeah.
I was also on the filmmaking part of it. I've seen everything I'd seen before used to be black and white. And I watched it in the color version this time. And I always forget how bright the outfits are because they need it to be look different on black and
Contrast
white.
when
Yeah.
it's black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of mustards, yellows, dark greens, stuff like that.
Super bright reds. Yeah. It was just, it always, I'm like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
This is what they had to wear in order for it to look right on the black and white version.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to color too, it still looks so right.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
the
mean,
color palette paints itself. Like
No
it's
problems.
masterfully done. Yeah.
Again, that's John Ford.
yeah.
I mean,
One eye, but a keen eye for color.
absolutely.
I also love the punch sounds from all
Yes.
the movies from this era of
I'm not gonna hit you. Hell, I'm not. Just
doesn't matter how close the camera is to anybody that's getting punched, it's always the same sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. I mean, I could hear anybody our age can hear that and be like, who got
It-
hit?
Yeah. Also, that
Who's watching
whole
Batman in the
gravel-
background?
Yeah.
The original
Oh,
Batman.
I'm
on
seeing
TV. Yeah.
Kapow and hearing
Yes.
like
Exactly.
no, that gravel pit like fight scene is one of my favorite fight scenes in all of movie history. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's what I grew up on, and that whole scene, the dude just slides down this mountain of fucking gravel
Yeah.
and everything. I love it so much. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that in that scene that you have Maureen O'Hare, who is this prim, proper Eastern, you know, from the time,
Yeah.
comes back to nasty Texas, and then she's inspired by her husband, and she actually asks, how much longer is GW going to put up with this? And so, and then she ends up taking her hairpin out and stabbing the guy in the
I like
ass.
that.
Yeah,
Because it's a strong woman with a strong man. That's what you get. I mean, back in that,
absolutely.
we'll parade her down the street in her bloomers at the end and dump her in the
Absolutely.
tank and throw her through a window. But she's strong enough that she's going to get in there and fight for
It
her
is John
people.
Wayne.
Yeah,
He's not above a good old Texas hairpin shake.
I dig it.
That's foreplay down there.
And I'm
It's,
glad I watched it in color because you could tell it was altered mud.
Oh, yeah.
And after it had, I was talking about the little trailers and like John Wayne reading the cue cards and stuff. And it had the director or somebody standing there talking about like, well, this is our mud pit. And we're filling it with whatever chemical so that
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be like sticky and it'll work the way we want to. And
It's actually how John Wayne and Kathleen O'Hara got cancer, but also Altered Mud
Rolling
is a
through it.
great band name.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun seeing how because that you can't do it the same way today. It's
There's a lot you can't do today. And again, I have to say this, and I grew up in a different time than everybody in the room here and whoever's watching this, but or listening is I grew up with guys like John Wayne. My dad was like
Oh, yeah.
John Wayne. My grandfather was like John Wayne. And, the people that were around them, I mean, everybody was like that. And women were like Catherine O'Hara.
right.
And, they appreciated the fact that a man was a man and, woman was a lady type of thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say this, and I miss that because, I can remember, you know, growing up in school, you didn't get in trouble for having a fight. They just took you behind the
Right.
bleachers and let you sort it out. And then
Yeah.
it was over to the next day. You became best friends. And, we just need more of that today.
It wasn't tolerated. It wasn't tolerated. It was expected for you to
Absolutely.
behave that way. Because if you
Absolutely.
didn't, what kind of man are you?
Yeah.
Right.
You're not a man.
Yeah.
They haven't dropped yet. So what's the problem here?
And when you're a cattle farmer in the 1800s, yeah, you can be cranky about some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're fighting Comanches and Comancheros and all the stuff, so yeah.
And your wife's running off to
To the east,
the east. Yeah.
the dreaded east.
That horrible place.
I
Yeah.
thought you said Weast.
Ah, the West.
The east.
Though I did like they show you who, and it's George Washington McLintock, by the way. We've said GW. I
Dubs.
totally forgot that was what GW stood for. And
Absolutely.
it started, I was like, oh, hell yes. I totally forgot they did that.
Absolutely.
But he's got that first conversation with the mayor. And he's like, I got to touch the hangover bureaucrat, not lay off me or like, don't push me.
So, I mean, again, going back into history, you have to understand there was those guys that were the bureaucrats
Oh, yeah.
that sold the land or made sure people got a piece of land or something. And they were, the big, what we would consider the corporatist
Right.
today.
Yeah.
And they were, they didn't care about as long as their bank account was.
So
Yeah.
he reminds me of the Marshal from Tombstone.
Absolutely.
He had his finger in everything, and
Absolutely.
he's like, "Oh, actual work sounds like a job for the sheriff, not the marshal. This is a town matter."
Well, and if you watch John Wayne movies, and when I say as he portrayed himself on film, this was him in life, it was the same way. He really wasn't a political person, but he would tell you how he felt and whether it was popular or not.
Yeah.
And he didn't like big government and bureaucrats and that kind of thing. So I was, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be a big John Wayne fan to go that deep in the
Go
weeds.
that far.
Yeah.
Fair.
But,
I also have to say, this might be a bit too close. I'm sorry. I feel like a lot of that mayoral and like bureaucratic thing was the inspiration for Blazing Saddles from maybe this movie.
Oh, from how they step in,
In
overstep.
yeah, like with how Mel Brooks is as like the mayor of the town and all that kind of stuff. Like it just, and much less like other John Wayne movies of unfortunately how they depict Native Americans
Yeah.
kind of stems from that.
Yeah. We're going to go the other way with it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like well, not necessarily the other way because I mean Mel Brooks is the chief in the movie, and they didn't do much of a job of not making him clearly be a white dude playing an Indian or Native American.
That part's true. Yeah.
But I feel like that was kind of where maybe he drew that inspiration from on that kind of spoof.
Wouldn't
Is a
surprise
lot
me.
from this
Yeah.
and the Searchers, and I keep bringing up the Searchers. I'm sorry, but like sticking with McLintock, that same thing with the bureaucratic view is just making fun of that whole entire aspect.
And it was big for, that the timepieces back then because America was just open. So
Yeah.
you had the government trying to regulate what went where and trying to get people out to these other places to establish themselves so that it's an American place. It won't get taken back over, essentially. And then you'll have these cattle and farmers and, industry people further on, I guess. But
No, for sure.
they'd set up
absolutely,
and
yeah.
then the government comes in and like, no, this part is actually Bill's. Like, well, I've been here for 10 years. Like, well, and then that's where you get that headbutting
Yeah.
because
Bill will appreciate you taking care of his place for him.
couldn't call him on the phone at that point. And
Exactly. Yeah. There was no social media at that point.
Thanks, Edison. Be better.
fix it. Also, and the one part I laughed at in the beginning was I'm just looking through my notes here. The huge cleaver that the old cook has in the beginning.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
I loved it. They got the
Stop.
smallest
Yeah.
guy and the hugest cleaver they could find. It was great.
You
oh,
know,
like after was it what was the kid's name? Devlin
yes,
Warren.
yes.
Yeah, he when he comes through, he's essentially begging for the job. Gets frustrated that he has to beg for the job. Gives him the job and immediately takes a swing at John Wayne. He goes, I've experienced a lot in life, but I've never had somebody hit me for giving him a job. And he just like, by the way, I'm going to hire your mom too. And
Well, it's interesting that happened.
Different time.
Because I remember as a kid, that's the way people were.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the way it was.
That's how things were handled.
Well, it was, and people that didn't have jobs and they asked for somebody for a job, it was like they felt like they were groveling,
Yeah.
and there's some pride going into being a man.
And now you have kids that don't want to work at all.
And, well, you got 40-year-olds sitting on a couch that just sits there and goes, I need some more money, type of thing.
I want that life.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool though, right? Side note.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
But it's at the same time, if you look at John Wayne movies, there's Big Jake.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about he takes a swing at him.
yeah,
Well, in Big Jake, he takes a swing at him too. And he, being the dad that he is, real dad in real life, you can call me this, you can call me that, but don't you ever call me daddy again. So, you got to appreciate that.
Manliness is important.
yeah.
Oh, he had a set.
Yeah.
Big hairy set.
Yeah. And I assume every movie he's in, he says Pilgrim. Is that?
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
Pilgrim?
Pilgrim.
Well, I tell you.
Because I was waiting for it in this one.
Dad's telling you. Well, I'll tell you.
It's I don't know where they came from, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because in his early movies, he really didn't do that. I don't know if it was a John Ford thing or if it was just something that somebody did, Ben Johnson off to the side or something, I don't know. Will Chill or somebody, I don't know.
Just somebody heard it in his draw and they're like, oh, let's use that.
Yeah, Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I have to say again, the point I brought up earlier too about this movie of him actually painting the right light of Native Americans and everything too, is that he is known as John Wayne as a like racist, bigot, like man's man kind of thing. Not detrimenting from what you're saying about being a man and everything, but for him to like make a movie in that light really was cool to me, and that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite John Wayne film.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool to see him do something like that in spite of like bringing up John Ford again and like his older movies that he did, especially like the war movies. It was just straight propaganda. And for him to make a movie like this, to like be like, yes, I know this is a Western film, and some of the other stuff I've done did not paint a great picture. This one kind of sets a whole new canvas.
Yeah. And you had, this was the generation of, multiple generations back of people who'd grown up in war.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, that has a big effect on, I think, like the being tough and all that, because everyone was, you had the soldier thing going on as well with World War I and II in the background. This is 60s, so it's not
Right.
that far back
Right.
at that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some people that have grandparents and great grandparents if they made it. If you're in that time frame from pre-World War One, when you've got
Absolutely.
you still got stories going from the Civil War and French and Indian
True.
War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they've been in war for years, and every guy in the family has
Right.
been.
Yeah, generationally.
Except now.
I guess in the light that I'm trying to say too is whatever movie I can't think of the name of it John Wayne did where he was Genghis Khan
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm glad to see him do a movie like this to actually paint the right kind of light in that aspect. But then the rest of everything is what it is. Like, I'm not being hateful. It's just I'm glad to see that he was able to like brush out of that, and then I'm just using painting terms like as a metaphor, but like brush out of that and then like paint a new light on actually respecting culture in those kind of ways.
yeah,
Well, you have
absolutely.
also is with what you're talking about. John Wayne understands what real history was, and he understood the native tribes of the country. And most of what he talks about is either Apache or Comanche tribes, because that's where most of his movies revolve around in
Yeah.
that area and that timeline. Is they were, all tribes literally fought each other, and it was bloody, it was nasty,
Yeah.
it was not, and they were enslaved, etc., etc. And there were different tribes of the Comanche that literally hated the Comanche, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
And because they enslaved them because they were considered weaker,
Right.
type of thing. And um, that is in every one of his movies. It's more so, and I think he gets a lot of that from John Ford, because John Ford painted those scenarios in
Right.
all of his films. And when you're talking about John Ford in World War II, you're talking about John Wayne. John Wayne didn't go because he had a knee injury. And it was interesting later on. There's a movie with, and I can't remember which one it was. It may have been John Wayne and Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin was actually a World War II hero, and he was injured in World War II. And there was a scenario to where the director said something, and John Wayne said, "No, we need to do it this way." And Lee Marvin absolutely come unglued and said, "No, you weren't there, I was, and this is how it needs to be.
Yeah.
You need to listen to the director and shut up." And they literally went to fisticuffs.
Over that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The hell I won't. I won't hit you. The hell I won't.
And he did.
Like,
And Lee Marvin never said anything else to John
Yeah.
Wayne after that.
And I thought it makes more sense knowing that it's based on a Shakespeare story, that McLintock was a much gentler character that John Wayne's playing than what I remember most of his characters being.
Oh, absolutely.
Much softer around the edges. He was
A father figure.
to like the whole town. So much that at the end, when he's chasing his wife and smashing the place up, they're like, "Let's just follow and watch. This is going to be the story of the ages." Like,
Mr. Birnbaum was like, "Yes, finally."
I mean, he was still a tough guy in this. Like nobody wanted to mess with him.
yeah, you're not going to mess with
But
GW,
it
but
wasn't like the like you said, some of his original hardcore tough guy.
yeah,
Go-
GW
like-
had a heart. Rooster Cogburn did not.
Yep.
There we go. That's a
Like
that's a good way of
what
putting it.
his
Yeah.
last movie, what, The Shootist?
Yes.
Just a cold son of a bitch.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like great fucking film, but
But
at the
it's-
same time, it's like it's kind of like watching the remake with Rooster Cogburn being older from the Coen brothers,
Yeah.
and he's just a cold son of a bitch. And
and that's real history.
yeah,
The shootist in that early 1900s, in that time period, that's the way they were.
yeah.
They were the gunslingers, and they, whether it was good or bad or indifferent, I mean, that's the way they were.
And I kept thinking about how there's like a little bit of blood on the lip or whatnot, but I'm used to the El Dorado, all that stuff where
Yeah.
there's a shootout every 15 minutes or
Right.
someone's getting popped, and they do have him shoot someone with the starter pistol, which I liked. That was a great scene of the daughter going, "Kill him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him." He's like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
You actually shot him.
But it's like, we got to have him shoot something in this movie, like before
Yeah.
he's done. But the soft, that's the best way I can think of describing it. It's a much softer hue of him and that character than most of the others
Yeah,
I've seen him in. He's not running off on his own for 3 days to find somebody and getting jumped by whatever different thing they throw at him in this.
Well, I mean, so the next movie I would suggest is The Quiet
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot about that movie.
Man. And
That's a good
there's a
movie.
lot of those tones in this. And if you don't know what The Quiet Man is, it is probably some of the best acting ever of being a real man.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I say that is John Wayne is an American prize boxer champion. He goes to Ireland and is courting Maureen O'Hare, and Victor McLaughlin, who's starred in many, Fort Apache,
Yeah.
Tidy Yellow Ribbon, et cetera, et cetera. There's that tie, and he's this great big Irishman, and the fight scene in that is probably one of the best ones of all cinema. It's just long drawn out. Real, I mean, if you've ever been in a fist fight, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
mean,
fair point for sure. Yeah.
and it's just, but you see a lot of that same nuances between John Wayne and this character as he does in
Yeah.
McLintock.
Is that
You're
the
talking about?
is that the movie where he actually ended up knocking out a like prize fighting boxer, another prize fighting boxer?
It was, yes.
Yeah, okay. I remember reading that a while back and it's like I think that sounds really familiar. I think that's the
Knocked him
one.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a step in for Victor McLaughlin.
Well, okay, that's what it was.
I feel like
And
I've
it
seen
was-
about 15 minutes of that film 20 different times through watching stuff with my dad.
It's John Wayne's Raging Bull.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's
Alcoholism, punching people, just everything else in between.
The Duke rages.
Story of my life.
Title of your memoir.
Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
The hell I won't.
But yeah, there's a lot of when you think of El Dorado and Rio Lobo, it's John Wayne movies.
Yeah.
I'm all about it, but it's not John Wayne movies.
And those were like cookie cutter. Like we're gonna just like
It was money making project.
Rio Bravo and El Dorado are pretty much the same movie, I believe, or Rio Lobo and Rio, one of those.
Well, there was Rio Lobo and Rio Bravo.
I know the El Dorado and one of the Rios were like pretty much the same one, except you had James Caan and El Dorado. I think that's why I liked it so much.
And again,
James
That's
Caan, shout
where-
out.
They put James Caan's nipples in that one too.
I mean,
As every other film should.
that's I
Just
mean,
The Godfather, just rubbing nips.
you another prize that John Wayne found.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the movie. I was like, "Is this guy in stuff?" And my
Yeah.
dad's like, "Yeah, he's like super famous. This was filmed in the '60s."
Exactly. And and then at the same time, two of the biggest actors in the '60s was John Wayne and
Robert, is that who
Redford.
you're thinking of? The
no, Kirk Douglas.
Kirk
Ah.
Douglas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Small
was
point.
the War Wagon. And
Oh, okay.
Kirk Douglas actually had an issue being in the same movie as John Wayne because they were politically opposed. And John Wayne's like, well, what are you? Are you one of those, type of things? And it's like, okay.
I saw you in Spartacus. Bunch of half naked.
I know how you
dudes.
dance.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Also, speaking of Stanley Kubrick films, I just saw today and meant to send to you and Robin Ryan. Criterion
I did saw that as
releasing
well.
the
Yeah.
Entire
The
Kubrick.
Kubrick collection.
Ooh.
600 quid.
It's a lot of
Not gonna lie.
movies.
Yeah, but probably worth every fucking
Oh,
penny.
probably.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's Kubrick, but imagine that like book that comes with it and everything too.
Oh, that's true.
Just
Awesome.
yeah.
Pretty
Anyways,
sweet.
not to divert.
I'm here for
sorry.
it.
My ADHD happens from time to time.
I like some
Yeah.
Kubrick.
Join the club.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. McLintock again. Like I said, I grew up with my dad sitting next to me.
I'm glad you did.
Thanks for not putting me in foster care.
There was a moment. but
You
that's
know,
okay.
yeah, that's
Just
fair.
one.
Still time.
Just one, yeah. Well, they kept sending me back. That was the thing. But growing up, like all I can remember watching with my dad and his parents were westerns, And if it was not a Western, it was either Braveheart or Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Those were like all the movies we watched. And I have not a hair to split or a qualm to fucking quarrel. I love the fact that I grew up on these because it gave me an actual respect and love for cinema.
Yeah.
It really did. Like I as all the other movies that I love, I can't say that a Western is in my top 5, but they're definitely in my top 20. And that probably rounds out the next of those 15. And it all grew up like from me growing up with my dad and my grandfather. And they paint the pictures perfectly. That's why people like Tarantino and so every other person director out there today reverts back to
Yeah,
those.
that's why you got copycats.
Yeah,
and
and same
homage.
with, and I'm going to bring it up again too. Same with Kurosawa. Is
Yeah.
one of my favorite directors ever, but he encaptured the Western dynamic and put it into like a samurai film.
Yeah, I mean it's
It went for
Magnificent
Seven
Seven.
Samurai. Same with Rashomon, like the Who Done It kind of thing.
Yeah.
All the way up to his last movie of Ran, which was like 1984 or something like that, if I remember right. Also a play on a Shakespearean play. Westerns are the best. That's my humble opinion. Western movies will never be beat on how fucking great they actually are.
Well, it's so raising Brad and Kyle, my 2 sons. One of the things I said is I will not raise them to be pussies.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
I'm sure my dad said that multiple times about all of us.
And,
He messed up.
and well,
Somebody
don't-
had to say it. No, I'm just kidding.
but it's like if they got in a fight in school, I was the first one there. It's like, what's the problem?
I attest to this.
Yeah.
Did he start it? No. Did he finish it? Yes. That's all I need to
Okay,
know.
let's go.
What's the fucking problem?
Yeah.
So,
So how long did
Somebody's
we have
getting
to
ice
keep
cream
him
on the
at
way home.
Yeah, like how long do we have to keep him at home? Is basically what the question was.
yeah. I mean, is it 3 days or is it, we're talking a week?
Yeah.
What are we talking
Yeah.
about?
Oh, cool. The house will be clean
Yeah.
because I'm gonna make him do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Fine with me. I didn't have to go to school.
but
Sit down, shut up, learn this. No, no, thank you.
but at the same time, and nothing against generations today. Everybody has their own thing, but as a father, you have to have independent kids to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and face the world.
Yeah, it's a safety thing. It's a
Well, it's
survival.
Not a safety
I mean-
thing. It is. It's a survival thing. It's not just a safety thing. It's like, let's look at if there's a problem, let's go. What's the problem? Let's get it done, whatever it is. And I just hit the mic. That's cool. I need more cowbell. And,
That's me got it.
one too.
but I mean, it's the point is I grew up with John Wayne.
Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart was another great one.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood was great in the spaghetti westerns and in some of those movies. Where Eagles Dare was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
The whole Dollars trilogy.
Absolutely. There was just a lot of great actors back in the time, and you cannot replicate that. There's nobody today that can replicate. There's not one person that is an actor today that can replicate a John Wayne.
Often imitated, never replicated.
Never, because he portrayed himself on every movie he was in.
Yeah. It was that guy.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
Now, that guy today is Tom Cruise, and come off it.
I mean, he does live what he preaches. I mean,
I respect it, but John Wayne against Tom Cruise in celebrity deathmatch, who you got?
well, Tom Cruise is going to jump on a helicopter at some point,
That's fine. Yeah.
and John Wayne. will
John
just
Wayne's
punch
gonna
him
have
in the
a
dick.
glass of wild turkey and be like, "Yeah, brother, come down on it."
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's nobody. Same thing with Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just one of those good classical actors that it was just.
In that same vein, Robert Redford,
Robert Redford was a good
all
actor.
these cats, Clint Eastwood, as you said.
Absolutely.
I mean, John Wayne is the epitome of what a Western film is. That's what we think of as Americans, especially as the actor of the Western film. Then Clint Eastwood. We've got Robert Redford. Everybody else who's in Magnificent Seven, the OG like Django films, you name it, everything has to go back to John Wayne.
I think John Wayne's like John Wayne is to westerns, but like Ozzy is to rock. Like you
Yeah.
think Ozzy, he's very particular. You know the voice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know that person, and that has a certain. It's been encapsulated. That's what this is.
Yeah.
John Wayne has that
Yeah.
for the westerns. Like
Name
that.
one person that is at least 30 to 50 years old who does not know, well, I'll tell you, Pilgrim. You
Yeah,
know, like Kurt Russell, again, often duplicated or replicated, never duplicated. Like Snake Plissken, that's clearly John Wayne,
right.
just in a different setting.
A new setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also what makes Snake Plissken so badass,
Absolutely.
is that he is the fucking John Wayne of what, the 21st century.
It just
I mean,
he just
you know.
traded out Spurs for shiny leather pants and
Goddamn right, dude. And a
a sweet
John
cobra
Wayne-
tattoo.
Yeah, dude, that Cobra tattoo. Also, Escape from LA never gets enough love. I just want to shout that out.
I love us.
I love
I
it.
do too. Yeah. John Carpenter's the best.
I love
We're
it for its
thinking
flaws.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And I think I mean, bringing up Kurt Russell's a good example because John Wayne, he was tough, he was hard, but he was also like, if you knew him and he didn't hate you, he's a nice, it was a badass with a heart of gold kind of thing.
It was.
yeah.
And that's one of the reasons Kurt Russell got hired for Escape from New York was
Yeah.
because they're like, how do we make this guy likable? Let's
Right.
cast Kurt Russell because he
Yeah.
was done coming off all of his Disney, his young stuff.
They did The Thing, him and John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And then on after Escape, they did Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
They're like, we're gonna make the most ridiculous John Wayne we can ever imagine, and Jack Burton, and we're just gonna fucking roll with it. And it worked out so well.
It does. I mean, you can make fun of John Wayne, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cultural icon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we see that. I mean, if you go back and look at how much we've, mix and matched our movie styles and genres and all that, with the like horror comedy, and we're taking the best parts of a movie and like you're taking a John Wayne character and throwing it into a space epic, shit like that.
And again, a lot of the cinematography also comes from those old school westerns.
Oh yeah.
John Ford, fucking Sergio Leone,
Yeah.
all those cats who you will keep you enthralled on these characters. Like we were talking about with McLintock earlier, dialogue takes place inside.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring back up Big Trouble in Little China. A lot of the dialogue is inside. The rest of it is just in this expansive landscape.
Yeah.
And all of that, in my humble opinion, for what it's worth, comes back to the Western genre.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
Again,
huge mark on cinema.
Yeah, and it's just naming a few: McLintock, all the John Wayne films, especially Robert Ford, whatever. Tarantino does a great job with it. Kurosawa, all that kind of stuff. It's just the long panned out shots to show you the beauty of the landscape in which these characters live in.
And you had a bunch. I mean, you didn't have special effects back then. Special effects were people making stuff, and you'd see it on the film. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get shot, you're holding your little blood
Yeah,
squid.
but-
Like you're not pumping stuff.
Yeah, and you jump from like a 2-story building into like clearly a little
bale.
pit. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But also shout out those stuntmen too.
How many of those guys
Like,
got hit?
exactly
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. Ben Johnson, if you know who he is in Westerns, if you don't, look him up. He is one of the greatest horsemen that ever, he was in rodeos.
Okay.
And he was one of those guys that came along with John Ford and John Wayne. And he starred in quite a few John Wayne movies. And he is that guy. I mean, he did his stunts before stuntman, Tom Cruise did his own fucking stunt,
Science.
whatever. And
Physics, if you will. I'm just kidding.
fuck physics. I mean, this guy was real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he took a punch and he
He
threw a punch
physics
back.
hard,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I mean, and that was,
He was a
Like-
pioneer in the stunt community.
he was.
Yeah.
He was huge.
But that's also why I love, like, Death Proof is my favorite Tarantino movie because it's an homage to those cats that did all this. Granted, it's more to like the 70s like grindhouse films, like Mad Max kind of stuff, car stunts and everything
Yeah.
else. But that I'm gonna bring it back up again too, not to divert again, but like bringing Tarantino back in, he actually like respects the genre, especially. I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, John Ford is his favorite director of all time.
Absolutely.
I think I've heard
You
that.
look
could
at
see that,
Django, it was the biggest like
Oh.
horse stunt thing of all time.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes out and they blow up the whole cabin thing that him and Schultz lived in, and they had like 148 horses, someone 100 something horses, all riding at once, and that was an homage to what Western films brought in.
Yeah.
And that's just absolutely insane. Like you watch the Battle of Rohan in Return of the King, that's what 102 horses, something like that. Don't quote me, but the rest are all CGI.
CGI, yeah.
Yeah, but Tarantino came in and he's like, no, these are the people who inspired me to make film. Not just blowing Tarantino right now. I'm just saying like it's an homage to
He's a
Westerns.
feet guy.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, I mean hooves, if you will, in this instance.
Indeed.
But
Wait, horses have 4 feet? Oh, fuck yeah. Let's get more horses.
how many we got? Yeah. Train them all. Move your big hoof. Like
I'm shoeing every one of these motherfuckers.
but you know, just in that vein, it's just the respect that comes from Westerns is not attributed to a lot of other films, unless you want to look at like samurai cinema, which again comes from a lot of ways Kurosawa, who was inspired
You'd
by
trace it
John
back.
Ford and all these Western
Yeah.
films. Like you read interviews with Kurosawa and everything, like I said, that famous shot of Seven Samurai when they're holding down the town and all these other cats come rolling in, that is literally him saying, I watched a John Ford movie. I love that. I'm bringing this to cinema in my own aspect.
Replicating that
Western of
shot.
the East.
Exactly.
They're
Often
Easterns.
replicated, never duplicated, you know? But at the same time, it works so beautifully because you have these masters of painting a picture, of seeing what they want to see and putting it into film. And then other people are going to take that and turn it into other things we love. I think it's so fucking awesome.
You look at a lot of the movies you're talking about, the first scene you see is this scenic view of a vista of something.
Drawn out
Yeah.
landscape, wide cut.
And if you go back and
Inglorious Bastards, another Tarantino movie, same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you go back to early John Ford movies, you'll actually see, like Fort Apache, you'll actually see the landscape of Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the big vistas, the huge outcrops, and all the different things. And if it was colorized, which they can do today, you would see all the different colors and the rock croppings and the you know, and what was interesting is you actually, you know, they saw that.
Yeah.
And they were trying to portray that on film, and they couldn't do it because it wouldn't color yet.
Right.
And to be able to do that kind of making a movie, directing that,
Yeah.
he saw something special in that, and he goes, "Man, people are gonna love this."
Yeah.
And you know, and the same thing is like what I was talking about earlier. Midway, you know, they're being attacked and the sun's rising.
Right.
He's like, "Jimmy, get that.
We're going to lose the golden hour. We
Gotta
can't
get the shot first.
But also that whole aspect, like the art behind it is like Japanese is like the House of the Rising Sun. That's what their whole flag is and everything too. And propaganda side of wise or aside, like that's the rising sun the Japanese are attacking. Is that the
I wonder
third?
when they're
And
going to attack? Rising sun.
Kimo Sunday.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Please erase that, Rob. I'm just kidding. But no,
That is now a GIF.
but that's what you just said about like the whole Arizona landscape, New Mexico, Texas, California, all the stuff they filmed in. That's exactly what I mean with like these color palettes that we see in cinema now. And the John Ford movie I was talking about earlier was Stagecoach with
yeah.
Seven Samurai. Like them attacking the stagecoach is them when all those other samurai come in to fight the Ronin, the seven samurai, and everything. That he literally was like shot for shot, pretty much. I can't quote him because I'm not him, but every interview I've ever seen, everything I've ever read was he was like, I took direct influence from that, and I was like, yes, we're gonna pan in and watch this whole scene play through, just like Stagecoach did. To me, that's absolutely amazing.
I wonder if
Still black
Westerns
and
were.
white, just
I wonder if they were cheaper to make as well. So when you did see something that you wanted to capture, you weren't wasting money on shutting down a city to film in or getting all these different extras. You had to still put your actors and crew up, but I don't know. I don't need to go back and look at that. I wonder if
That's a good
that's
point.
something
I've
you
never
could.
thought about that actually myself.
I
Like
think
that.
it's-
That's a good point.
I think it's about how people were raised in the time.
Yeah.
Because people back then, I mean, as a kid, absolutely.
Pull your
every
mic up a little bit.
Well, some of these movies are also like one, two,
Need
three
more
decades in
gum.
from the Great Depression and the whole Dust Bowl and all that kind of stuff too. So everybody's manifest destiny heading west.
I mean, you know, they are. And at the same time, you still have people that remember the West.
Right.
You have, you know, 20s, 30s, 40s. You still have people that remember the real West
Yeah.
and the settling. You know, the country's young and people are, you know, they're brought up a different way and they're brought, you know, it's like even when I was a kid, I mean, we went Saturday mornings to the matinee and it was Westerns.
Yeah.
It was B grade Westerns that nobody ever heard of.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, yeah, you know.
And
And-
there's got to be a nostalgia piece to that, or at least a time capsule piece to that as well, because they were shooting what they knew at the time. And then you can look back on it and go, yeah, that encapsulates that in my mind. You know, that's what that is. Like if I watch, I mean, Stranger Things with my kids, they're like, you were in the 80s, right? I was like, yeah, that's kind of what it was like. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I remember it.
Yeah.
Like those guys that made that grew up in that time, encapsulated that, go back to this time.
Nose candy and a lot of scotch.
We had different 80s, I think.
He thought you said Wall Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Yeah. Had a flashback.
Michael the Douglases, yes. You got anything else on this one? We want to.
No, I think my favorite scene in this one is when what was the other suitor's name? The one like he was giving him a hard time. Oh, he
Jerry
tried to
Van
kiss
Dyke?
her and they weren't engaged or
Jerry Van Dyke's
yeah,
character.
yeah, his character.
Yeah.
And then the uncle that came at like they got into it.
Oh yeah,
He beats him up. The uncle comes in. He's
Yeah.
like, "I heard you beat up my nephew here." He go he goes to start fighting. He hits him in the face, what, 6, 8 times? He just kind of laughs it off, knocks him out once. And then John Wayne walks over and he's like, you know, we got to make sure this is a fair fight. There's no nose pulling or elbows to the gut.
Yeah.
Just, you know, kind of fathering him just a little bit.
something that
And he
Bugs
still
Bunny
immediately
take
knocked
later.
him out. Yeah. But yeah, like I thought that whole, besides the
But that's
The cement
father
pit.
character.
Yeah.
right, yeah, he's playing that father figure role,
Right.
but still letting him be a man without
And
you know,
McLintock was
diminishing him.
he would step back. I liked watching John Wayne be like, I'm a support character in this
I'm gonna support you, but
in this scene.
this is on you.
Yeah,
Yeah. At the same time, I will come in and whoop ass.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
still like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah. Well, the one of the favorite parts of my movie of this is actually him and Stephanie Powers, his daughter,
Yeah,
that comes back, and he's out bird hunting, and you see the background.
oh yeah,
Well, the background is that was actually filmed in Texas, and that's what it looks like.
yeah,
Second of all is you know, his daughter talks about the heritage and da 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 da, and he's like, yeah, but understand something. This is bigger than you and I.
yeah.
And we're going. You need to struggle through life, and I hope you find the right man to do that with. And it's part of growing up, and I
Yeah.
want that for you. And that you talk about a father figure. That is it.
That was
the
an
point
interesting scene, yeah.
That was the point that I wanted to make before we wrap this up too. Is it's a very harrowing tale of a father coming back into the picture and trying to like set shit straight with his family.
And I like how he's the same guy throughout the movie, but when his daughter comes back, he's a slightly, you know, he's changed a little bit, or
Right.
he you know, takes the I guess not the drinking hat off because he still drinks every night.
Turkey 101.
what does he say? I'm not intoxicated yet.
Yeah.
But he acts a little bit different. And even when the scene where you have the daughter's getting spanked by the guy,
Yeah.
you know, he's
Yeah.
giving him the
Yeah.
shovel, you know, it's still all playful and all this, but he's still that guy. You're not gonna
Yeah.
talk to him
Yeah.
wrong, you know.
No.
I like that a lot. As
I mean,
as a
it's-
dad
that's
with
him.
daughters.
That's him.
Yeah.
Also,
as a
talking about
father of a
Yeah.
daughter.
shithead,
He's got one of those too.
Yeah.
two of
It's-
them actually.
yeah.
but I'm just kidding.
It's you know, it's when you raise sons, it's different. But when you have a daughter, I mean, gloves are off. It doesn't matter who you offend. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what happens. Hell's coming and I'm bringing it.
It's really interesting seeing me and my dad because he had 3 boys and I've got 2 girls. And when we're parenting, he's like, I don't know how you're being such a great dad and all this. He's like, I was like, but you had 3 boys that
Yeah.
you needed to kick the shit out of. Like we
Absolutely.
needed that.
It's a
We
slightly
deserved it
different
most of the
approach.
time.
I was going to say, my sister got a completely different approach from my dad than
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did. And we're only a couple years apart. But
Yeah.
I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking at you.
But to your point, Tony, I mean, I look back on it at the time, it was just hell. But looking back, I'm like, I'm so glad that I went through all that with
Absolutely.
my parents, and
Agreed.
they made me struggle to overcome things because otherwise you're going to be one of these kids that just expects, and if it doesn't happen for you,
Trophy.
then
Like,
Yeah.
look at where we are
yeah,
and drive around and ask yourself, who's entitled?
right,
You know, there's no such thing in life. There's no entitlement in life. Nobody owes you anything.
no,
It's all about what are you going to do,
yeah,
you know, type of thing.
and how are you going to fight to get it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you got the cojones to make it happen, or are you just going to sit back and wah,
Yeah,
you know, and life isn't fair. And you know, I you know, people can laugh if they want to, but I contribute that a lot about how I was raised, and again, it was on John Wayne movies. You know?
Yeah.
You
and
know,
it trickles down over the generations. I mean, every generation's a little different, and
it is
like I'm looking at my kids' generation, and we grew up super poor, and then you know my dad worked his ass off to get us to where we are, where he is. But also with advancements in technology and everything else, it's so much easier just to be a pansy or whatever he says in that one scene of you don't have to work as hard to get the little things.
exactly.
Like if you don't have food, you don't have you we don't have to go out and hunt it. We can go find it somewhere for $1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, not 15-cent pound of cattle, but something.
Well, I mean, you know, and if anybody has ever driven west and you drive and you actually in Oklahoma, there are places in Oklahoma where you pass where like the Cimarron Trail,
Yeah.
you know, the O'Connor Drive, where these are real ranches that drove cattle to market before Texas actually had railroads. And it was interesting. And I guess if I could wish any time that John Wayne could come back and make a movie, this would be one.
Yeah.
is that in Texas, once they brought the railhead to Texas, whether it was Fort Worth, whether it was
Mhm.
Austin, you know, further south, you're talking about ranchers, Abilene, ranchers that absolutely owned millions of acres.
Right.
And they raised unbelievable amount of cattle and fed the world.
Right.
And before that happened, you had to drive them to Kansas to the railhead. And that was the end of the railhead. They had to, you know, they literally turned the train around and went back to the east.
Right.
And now it's if you, and I'm a history nerd, so I apologize, but it's
it.
like if you look at it, there's a lot of what he's talking about in McLintock.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in real history, and he in his own way, he kind of brings it forward.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I wish he could come back and make another movie, just one more movie,
Just one more.
one more. That's all I
One
ask.
Tomahawk too.
That Tomahawk Pilgrim.
And have that where the railroads come in, you know, the King Ranch
Yeah.
at one point in time was over 3 million acres.
Damn.
And they had their own line of cattle, the Santa Gertrudis. The O'Connor Ranch is another one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one in the Panhandle, the Llano Escanada, that was so big that is bigger than Europe.
Jesus.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You know, from Germany to Spain.
It's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of rattlesnakes,
It's the, yeah.
jackrabbits,
Those two.
and Comanche, and at that time when it was formed, it actually went all the way out to Albuquerque, what we know today,
Right.
and then up into Colorado. You know, it was huge.
I mean, that was the gold rush before the gold rush.
It was a good
Yeah.
point.
That's where Manifest Destiny came from.
Absolutely. You know, and what's really cool is no matter what you think politically, it doesn't matter. But at that time, you had a chance to go and become something if you had the balls to make
Oh.
it happen.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I appreciate about John Wayne, because I grew up right next to the King Ranch. I grew up around those type of people that, you know, the Mitchell Oil Company and those people.
Yeah.
And that started with absolutely, you talk about poor. I mean, they absolutely had nothing.
Right.
And they became heroes.
Yeah.
Of what people consider, you know, people that look at those things and they're like, oh shit, wow, that's amazing. And you know, they were the Elon Musk of the time,
Right.
you know, type of thing.
Or, what's his nuts from There Will Be Blood?
Oh,
Yeah,
I could have thought of it if you wouldn't have asked me.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
And to that point, I liked the when they would, if they found somebody that can do something that they can't do, they would be like, "Hey, come with us."
Absolutely.
And this starts out with
Oh.
hiring people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yes, come on. We need people that
We
can
need a
do
cook.
things.
Yeah, we need an alchemist to make rattlesnake.
They didn't
Right.
have YouTube
Like-
University back then.
Yeah, you couldn't just Google it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Is this a rattlesnake bite?
You know, and the thing about it is, if you know the story, if you watch the movie and know the story, he gets hired because his mother makes a great
Yeah.
brisket.
Yeah.
I mean, really? I mean, come on.
And that's just, yeah, we're going to think with our stomach here because it's morning. I'm hungover. You're hired.
Exactly.
This was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
To think the film almost ended by getting butcher knife from the chef.
Oh, I love that
Proud of
thing.
Absolutely.
I had a-
Well,
That was great.
And the chef is actually the chef that's in Bonanza. Same guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, you're
That
up
makes
in the
sense.
floodgates right now. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I'm time stamping myself, but
Anything else we want to, I mean, we could go on and on because we could just balloon this out with John Wayne, but anything else about McLintock? I think we covered
If you haven't seen it,
a lot of the,
please watch it.
It was
you know?
it was way more fun rewatching it now
yeah.
Yeah.
than when I was 9 years old watching it with my dad on
Yeah.
Turner
means
Classic
more.
Movies.
I think it's one that probably holds up better today than a lot of those movies ever would.
I definitely got more out of it this viewing than I ever have
Yeah.
watching it, the pieces on TV.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you got to remember this was a comedy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really,
Yeah. Right.
this is not some corny slapstick bullshit
Oh yeah.
that somebody
It
come up
lays the
with.
saddles.
Yeah. The dialogue is very important in this one. And it's one of those when you're paying attention, you're like, okay, that's clever.
I mean, can you imagine John Wayne's his production? He's financing this.
Yeah.
He's on set, and you're going to tell him, no, I'm not going to say it that way. As he bitch slaps
The hell
him,
out
Yeah.
of
you know? I mean, that's
We got to find another guy now.
yeah.
Yeah. Gotta let that cheek heal up.
Yeah.
I heard Eastwood's clear for a new film. Nah, fuck that guy. John Wayne's the only guy we need for this. Yeah.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
All right. If you have not seen McLintock, go see any John Wayne movie, really. But we'll probably do another one here after a while. I really want to do El Dorado at some point.
Should we also say I'm glad we could sit down and McLintock about that?
Oh, hell yes. Gonna save that
Nice.
that note.
Yeah.
Very good.
Tony, Brad, thanks for joining us.
Enjoyed it, man.
Rob, Ryan, thank you for having
Always a pleasure.
having Papa Tones in on the mic for the first time.
Well, one of the things that if El Dorado is a good movie because of James Caan.
And it's a nostalgia thing. I used to come home from school, and every day my grandfather would turn that on. We'd watch that, then we'd watch The Last Crusade,
Oh, nice.
and then
Hell yeah.
it would be time for the MTV music videos, and I would get under the bed and pretend I didn't have a boner because Billy Idol came on.
Oh, no doubt.
Uh,
I remember
You had
that
your own,
video.
when I was
white
like
wedding?
9, 10 years old. We're like, what is this?
I'm
I had a
gonna
white
keep it
wedding.
short because I'm remembering the video and I might be getting a boner.
See?
Well, that's TRL. You're talking real life.
Yeah. All right, Billy.
But the question I would have is not only El Dorado, that's The Quiet Man.
Quiet Man. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that one all the way through either.
You've got to see that movie.
I've seen pieces of it. I remember some of the
good
fight
acting.
stuff.
It's fighting, it's drinking, it's fighting, but
It's America.
it's America. It's you're not going to be able to treat your wife this way today.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
But at the same time,
I was thinking about getting a shovel from the fireplace tonight.
I was
if
gonna
she
say,
misbehaves.
You mean we're not allowed to hit them with
Do I have
fireplace
to
shovels?
leave after the podcast.
can.
Then?
It's frowned upon.
depends on the company you get, yes.
Well, her mom's here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
She can watch.
She has to watch.
Set up the chair, dude.
She's got to learn. Okay.
Put on Rio Bravo and let's talk.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's McLintock. Go check it out.
The Clinton talk.
Charlie.
Are we